Hey, welcome back, Fast Monty's Garage. I'm so excited we get to paint the block today. We're putting color on it. That means we're moving forward in this process of rebuilding our engine. If you're new, go check out the last episode. We actually took the paint off this block and cleaned inside and out. The reason I had to do a thorough job at cleaning is because I had a lifter blow up on me, took out my cam, so metal debris was everywhere, and I had to clean it thoroughly. And that's what I did. You're going to want to do the same thing if you're rebuilding your engine because it's already out. You might as well clean it thoroughly, make sure it's nice and fresh. So today we're going to mask and paint and put up a $5 paint booth. Yeah, you're going to love it. So let's go to the next step, show you what's needed. All right, guys, so the next step here is to mask all of our machine surfaces. Typically, the machine surfaces are going to be a gasketed area, and you don't want paint on that surface because sometimes the paint can erode and create a leak. And so you want the gasket to touch metal directly. So I'll have my gasket set, get a fresh razor blade, and get your preferable masking tape, like the blue stuff used for painting or even the green stuff. Green stuff's more expensive. I use both, and I'll show you why later. So next step here is from our last episode. If you remember, I put WD-40 everywhere. And where we're going to put tape down, you have to take that WD-40 off or the paint's not going to stick. So what I like to use is this stuff. This is wax and grease remover. This is used heavily in the auto body world because it's great for removing oils and contaminants without ruining the surface underneath. So you can actually use that stuff on your car paint to remove the prior wax before you wax again. Little pro tip for you. So I use the same stuff to remove any kind of oil on a surface. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So how do you know if this is clean enough? Well, one, it won't look like that. But for two, you test with tape. If the tape sticks pretty good, you're nice and clean. You don't want it to find a spot where it lifts super easy because then it won't cover enough for paint coverage. So I'm going to do one more round of cleaner, then I'm going to tape it up. All right, we're all taped up. See how easy that is to do? And then you find your bolt holes and you push in it and it leaves a little dimple. So you find all your bolt holes. There are 6 in this gasket. Pretty easy to do. Then you line up your gasket. It goes just like that. And then I prefer to use a ballpoint pen. And then you can just go around and trace your gasket on the tape. And then we're going to follow that line with a razor blade. Okay, so there's my line, and I already cut this side. This is what happens. Ba-bam! Tap down your edges that might have peeled up. And if you see any blue line, you can go back and just touch it up. But that's what I'm going to do the whole way. Ta-da! So that's how you do your gasketed surfaces. So I'm going to go ahead and do my oil pump gasket, my distributor hole and gasket, any other small surfaces I want no paint on it. But the next step here is actually how do we cover up here? And this is a fun one. All right, for our large area, we're going to do the same thing where we have this weird shape. It's easier to put a piece of tape down and take your razor blade and cut it out like that. Now, the next step is a version of back taping. I like to use a 3/4 inch piece of tape, different color. There's going to be a reason for that. And what you do is when you lay it down, you fold half of it up. So we're going to lay it down, and half of it is going to stick up like that. So I'm going to go around all the whole way, and I'll show you my hack for covering that large area. Okay, first reason I use 2 different colors is you should have blue exposed in between your green and your painted surface. That makes it easy to go around and see if you missed a spot or you need to re-tape. Now the next part is the coolest part of painting. Go out and get yourself some of this Easy Sheet. It's awesome for painting and masking. It's what I used for when I painted the GTO. I covered the walls. It's 12 feet wide. It's awesome, and I'll show you why. So what you do is cut off a piece, And remember, we have this exposed piece of tape. We're going to start at one end and stick it to the tape like that. So it, well, almost like that. It actually sticks really easy. So push it on the tape. And now we can drape it over and keep it kind of tight. Work yourself around the tape edge, press it down. Go down in our valley here, same thing. Go to the other side of the valley, keep it nice and tight with this valley. And now we can go to the other side and pull it tight. Now where we have the overlapping, this is why the blue and green and the clears work so well, is we can start an edge here. Let me just cut into this film. It helps to have a really sharp blade. And we're not going to cut the tape, we're just going to cut the plastic. So you're just kind of scoring it. So then it just pulls off just like that. So I'm going to do that all the way around and we'll have this top part done. There you have it. That was easy. That bottom is even easier. I'll show you why. You guys might be wondering what I meant by back taping. Back taping is when, let's say we have to paint this surface, which we do. We don't want to paint this surface. So instead of cutting it out the razor blade, look, you just go like this. So now that surface is masked and you leave the tape like that. So when you go to spray, the spray paint goes in there and doesn't touch that surface. That's back taping. So when I rolled the tape, that's a different form of back taping, but same premises. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put the tape on directly like that, all the way around. So I'm not going to do the base blue that we did on the top side. I'm going to do that all the way around and then stick our easy sheet to that. There we go. That was easy. So everything's stuck on there and you can feel the tape on the back side. So we're spraying this way and the paint will get on that surface behind the tape. And because it's a soft edge, that paint will actually bleed into that area, which is good. You want it around the edge. And then if you want to go around and tape any other things, you can. So let's say where my starter bolts in, I want to cover that off. I can just tape it off. You know, whatever. If you cut through the film accidentally with the razor blade, just tape over it with some other tape or same tape, doesn't matter. But that's how you tape or mask with Easy Sheet. It's awesome. Now the most tedious part is here to come, and that's just masking everything you don't want painted, like my engine stand. I don't necessarily want paint on it. I kind of like the red and black, so I need to spend time masking that. The whole back of the engine block, same method. I'm going to back tape this whole outer edge and it'll be fine. So when I come back, that's going to be done and we're going to talk about a low-cost paint booth. All right, we're all masked up. Before we start talking paint booths, I want to show you another trick. So remember this stuff, the wax and grease remover? I actually put it in a pressure vessel like this. Sure shot. You put it in here, you pressurize it, and now you can spray it. So now you can douse this and get all the dust off, any oil that if you touched it. I should be using gloves, but I'm just showing you an example. This is how we do our final degrease before we paint. So you do that on all your surfaces you want painted. And just so you guys see that back taping, check it out, see under there? So that's where paint can go, and that side's masked, so it's awesome. So when I get back, we're going to start talking about what paint to use and how to make a super fast $5 paint booth. All right, guys, you want a fast paint booth? There you go. That's fast, right? It even has a door. Check it out. See, engine's still in there. That Easy Sheet we use for the masking is exactly this product. That thing comes on a 240-foot roll, 12 feet wide. So I can cover from the ceiling to the floor and then cover the floor as well, which is what I did. I'm going to show you some quick reinforcement tricks I used on the top, and we'll get to painting. Right on the ceiling, on the corners of the Easy Sheet, take a piece of masking tape, fold it over the corner, then take a push pin thumbtack, whatever you want to call it, and push it into the ceiling, and that's awesome reinforcement. I did that on all the corners, and that's it. And then at the bottom, on the ground, you tape it to the ground so it's nice and stretched, because when you walk by this, it's going to blow in the wind. You don't want it sticking to the engine, of course. Now let's talk about paint. This is by far my favorite engine paint primer, which is an enamel. So whatever top coat you're using, make sure that the primer is the same. So for me, the top coat is this Restoration Colors Pontiac Blue Silver Metallic, which is awesome. This is made by Inline Tube. I'll leave a link below. They make colors for almost any engine on the market. So go check them out and read the directions. So what we're going to do is basically 2 light or 3 light coats of primer. Wait 20 minutes for it to flash, and then we start applying our base. Now the base, since this is a metallic, you don't have to go heavy. Just go nice and light, nice light coats. Believe me, by the time you get to the 3rd or 4th coat, it's going to pop because there's metallic in there. You don't want to dope it on there. You just want to do nice light coats. Believe me, it'll look great. So I'm going to get to painting and show you the result. All right, I'm done shooting 3 coats of each. You can still see stuff in the air. But look at the overspray. That is ridiculous. So that gets all over your shop if you don't have adequate coverage. That's why it's always good to do it. And I'm choking on the fumes, so I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll take the booth down and show you the end result. It looks awesome. Wow, check that out. I know it's hard to tell on video, but in person it looks amazing. And I misspoke earlier. I said that that paint booth was $5. I was wrong. It's actually closer to $2. That Easy Sheet product, I'll leave a link below. You can get it at Summit Racing. It's like 40 bucks. The roll is 400 feet long. I was wrong. That means it's 10 cents a foot. And that paint booth I put up was 22 linear feet. That's $2.20. Not bad, if you ask me. So anyway, guys, when you take your tape off the top here, you notice when I cut along the razor with the razor, there's going to be a little edge of paint. Take your razor blade and shave that off. So as long as you don't feel anything with your finger, you're good. And that's it. We're ready to start building. So hopefully next episode, I'll have my crank back from polishing. Yes, that's another good joke right there. I'll have that back, and hopefully we can start sizing some bearings, because that's that's the most challenging part about an engine rebuild, is measuring all that stuff and figuring that out. So we're going to go through that step by step, and not to worry, I'm probably going to need a professional to back up my data. So until next time, you guys know the drill. Building fast, driving faster. See ya.